corn mazes can be a lot of fun. I mean, it's literally made of food. And yeah, you may expect to get lost, maybe even get a few bug bites, but I'm sure what you never expected is... What was that? Sharks! I have never done a video like this before, but frankly, I figured it was about time. Especially because of what we're gonna be talking about. I've always loved horror movies. In particular, I have always loved horrible horror movies. And I do mean bad. There's just something about them. Just, it hits different. And it's not that I like to mock them or make fun of them. I do. Not online. I like to be cruel. And by the way, let me go ahead and put that disclaimer in here. I am in no way actually trying to punch down and demeanly mock in this video. This is just for goofs and gaffs. That's it. So please don't send any negativity to the reviews of this movie, to the reviews of the people that worked on this movie, anything like that. We're just here to have some fun. We're just here to have some laughs. So I love watching bad horror movies, to laugh at them, laugh with my friends, and just have a good time. Also because for a lot of bad horror movies, or B horror movies, for a lot of them at least, you can still tell how much effort there was put into it. They may not have a big blockbuster budget, but you can tell they had the heart and the imagination and the idea and the intentions were there. And to add to that, a lot of them don't take themselves too seriously either, which also makes it okay to lovingly make fun, to lovingly jest about them. For instance, a movie that's pretty well known nowadays, but Velocipaster, perfect example. So I have a habit of going on Amazon in particular because that site just seems rife with these kind of movies, and definitely the algorithm has kind of learned what my taste is after watching Velocipaster and things like Dead Snow and stuff like that, what kind of things I'm into, she said darkly. None of you go look at my Goodreads. What am I looking at my laptop for? No one texted me. A key thing you need to know that I think fed into the algorithm that one of my favorite bad horror movies of all time is a movie called House Shark. This movie lives in my head rent-free. Chances are, if you're one of my IRL friends, you have watched this movie with me at one time or another. Because unlike in The Mummy, where no harm ever came from reading a book, there is harm in befriending a Chey who loves to watch nothing but bad horror movies. And that movie in particular was the beginning of a subgenre of B horror movies that I found that I loved, which is B horror movies involving sharks. Now, I say House Shark really kicked this off for me, but around the same time I saw this movie on when it was still the Chiller Network, I believe, or it was Sci-Fi, I saw this movie called Ghost Shark with this one scene that I will never forget. If I can find it, I'll post a clip of it. Editing Chey, please and thank you. Being that as it is, as I was scrolling the streaming service one night and I came across this beauty, of course I'm gonna watch it. To my surprise, though I guess it shouldn't be, it is by so many of the same people involved in House Shark. That's when I knew I was in for a good ride, a good time. Immediately I had to watch it. I did not get 2 minutes into this movie before I immediately thought, oh my god, I have to talk about this. Don't worry about what happened here. I got bit by a shark. This is still one of the most unique things I have ever seen. That's my shark impression. Thank you. First of all, who the f*** is Tim Ritter? New angle, because I have to change it up on y'all, otherwise what's the point? Tim Ritter is a self-described independent filmmaker and heavy metal enthusiast, so you know he's already got a major win in my book. He has directed and been involved in a ton of movies. Apparently he's a big name around. I say apparently like it's something to prove. It's not, it's just that I didn't know this until I researched into it. Well known in the underground, especially horror movie circuit. He's also a novelist, horror novels, story novels, that kind of thing. And when I say underground cult classics, I mean there is like a big, massive underground cult following for some of these films that have made me curious to check them out, especially the 1980s ones, because I love a good 1980s horror movie, okay? I'm a big slasher girl. And I cannot find it now for the life of me. Hi, editing Chey here, probably on the day this is going up. I swear it was him that was on a podcast, and I'll probably find this after I upload it. I could wait and find the podcast before I do this, but I have been working on this video. This video was supposed to be out a month ago, but then I got sick, and I went to Paris, and all this kind of stuff, so it needs to be up as soon as possible right now. I found a podcast, and I'm pretty sure it was either him or Ron Bonk, but it's probably him, so Mr. Tim Ritter, I'm sorry if I'm wrong. But you seem cool nonetheless. There was like a podcast that I didn't get to finish listening to, but they had them on there, and they were talking about their horror movie inspirations, how like 2 of their favorite horror movies they like remember seeing were like Halloween and Jaws, which I was like, okay, just like me for real, for real. When people ask me what my favorite classic horror movie is, it's Halloween, because that was one of the first movies I ever saw as a kid, and traumatized me for like 6 years. No, I won't get into it. Yes, I am serious. And of course, as an audio engineer, you know that it got me intrigued whenever it said that he was the one doing most of the sound and the music for this movie. I want you to know that I tease a little bit about the intro to this movie, but I actually love it a lot. And overall, spoiler alert, the sound design and music for this movie I think are pretty well done. At the very least, it's unique and it's fitting for the film, so A+ in that in my book. Now, telling you that, I want to tell you what I found while I was editing this video. Tim Ritter, in the midst of me making this video, uploaded a Shark of the Corn music video on his YouTube channel, which I will link down below. I'm not going to talk about it here because showing you that before the movie would spoil it, considering it's like a preview of the movie. It's a music video for the movie. That's it. I just wanted to introduce you to this madman, this apparent mastermind behind this movie. One of them, at least. Story is based on true events? What true events? It's clearly reminiscent of Jaws. It's evoking that same kind of eerie, ominous feeling. It's uneasy, it's dreadful, but then this happens. What happened? Did the tuba man run out of air? Did the shark crush a mouse? What is that? You know, maybe, hear me out. Maybe it is a subtle auditory clip that while the movie is a horror, it also has comedic elements interwoven into it. But that would be too obvious. So we have some shots of the shark stalking its prey through a cornfield. Never mind how sharks can't breathe out of the water. Or is it swimming? Through air? Is it walking? I don't know which scientific impossibility is more terrifying. So we're at a county fair of some sort, of which corn seems to be a big thematic part. Fair. After some establishing shots, we are taken to 2 folks who seem to be having your standard country rendezvous. Which is grabbing some musty blanket out of the back of your trunk that's probably been used to wipe up spills in your truck for the past 10 years and has never been washed, spreading it out near a cornfield drinking. I do wonder what they're drinking though, because if they ain't drinking corn liquor, what's the point? I haven't had anything to drink in quite a while, so I indulged myself just a little bit. And I'm kind of sick of corn liquor, you know, because, well, you see what's around us. Yeah.
I get that. Well, I'm just glad that you came back with me after Cornfest. I feel privileged. You're the winner of the corn eating contest.
Cornfest? The winner of the corn eating contest? You know, I was gonna make a joke about a town centering its identity around something that a lot of people would consider arbitrary, but they feel like is a hallmark foundation stone to who they are. But I should have done that with stitches in my leg. Also from a shark bite! It was not from a shark bite. You know, a lot of these lines sound so fucking improvised. Especially this part.
I have an affinity for corn, and, I'm the king of this area, and I figured I could eat my weight in corn, and by God, I'm gonna do so.
I'm almost in tears. I want you to know that. Look at how red my nose is getting. When I prefaced showing you that with what I said, that was a compliment. That was not meant as an insult, because that is one of the funniest things that I've ever heard if it is improvised. Because number one, relatable. Number two, fair and valid. Number 3, go off, King. Literally, Corn King, go off, King. Hell yeah. God bless America. I thought we was special having the Mule King, but honestly, the Corn King might be giving him a run for its money. So she gets to talking about all this kind of stuff that she's heard about the local corn. It's a lot of conspiracy theories, how there's growth hormones in it, how there's cryptids roaming the fields. She really gets going on that one. To her credit, she only mentions about hearing about this stuff, not necessarily believing it. But she talks about how people have heard and seen, they've seen lights and stuff in the corn, and somehow that's all connected to the growth hormones that might be in the corn.
I read it in your brother's newspaper.
Oh, I guess, yeah, I guess they'll do anything to get news these days.
No, I mean, have you seen his YouTube channel?
Oh Lord, he's a YouTuber? It's gotta be true then.
Oh,
He's got video of Bigfoot.
it's probably his wife and, dressed up and...
He is gonna be in trouble when he gets home.
No, I heard Delbert came out here and nobody's seen him.
Delbert?
And she doesn't shave her legs.
Hold on. You gonna dig yourself that deep, you gonna need some help. Hold on. Excuse me. Hold on. Here we go. Brought this for you. Thought you, no, you will need it. Not thought you will need it, you will need it. So I'll set this over here for you, alright? Come get it anytime.
I think we need to get up and get some exercise. What do you say if, we play a little hide and seek out here?
Alright, so you can see where this is going, right? It's the typical, don't go downstairs, don't go in the water trope, where we just know that they're marching to their inevitable demise, all while the big bad is watching them from afar. She's sashaying through the field, disrobing in front of God and the cob. She's calling out teases to him while leaving clothes for him to find like breadcrumbs, but he is the Corn King, and he's surrounded by corn. So, I don't know why he would want to eat any of that. Seems kind of wasteful, honestly. Don't litter. Something tells me that time and true knockoff outfit ain't biodegradable. So as they're doing this game, they come across a scarecrow. But it ain't just any kind of scarecrow. It's a sharkrow. So after leaving another little breadcrumb and throwing out another tease for our Corn King to follow, she moves on. But drunk Corn King is right behind her, and honestly, I think that he has the more believable reaction of the two.
What the hell is that? Hey, baby, kind of hippie shit are you into?
At least at first. Because then he, sits on him? So the girl keeps on playing while the dude's taking a well-deserved nap. Listen, after you eat that much corn, it's like Thanksgiving, but honestly worse. I know, we've been there, we've all been there. And I understand how dubbing works in movies. You do have to overdub, especially when you're doing outside environments like this. But the snoring is the most overdubbed snoring I have ever heard, and it kind of reminds me of the trope where when a kid sneaks out and like they play a tape of them snoring to fool their parents. Listen, I'm no Roger, okay? After a little bit, she realizes that her Corn King ain't responding, so she leaves a last little tease, a last little breadcrumb for him. But then she decides to give him one last chance, saying if he fails, she's going back to Corn Cob Dude. I legitimately cannot show you this scene because by the time this scene happens, she is frontal nude, at least top half, and also all the fake blood. In fact, there's a lot of scenes I can't show you in this movie because of the amount of fake blood, and I know it's fake, but I don't feel like messing with YouTube's guidance like that. I don't feel like fighting that battle. I'll show you what I feel like I might be able to, but just a fair warning, the movie is on all kinds of different streaming platforms. If you want to go see those extended scenes yourself, you can, but please understand that I can't show you the full awesome capacity of them. So you're just gonna have to trust me when I tell you that this first victim scene is a doozy. So while I can't show you the full itself, it's the first shot you've seen in all kinds of horror movies. If you've seen a slasher, if you've seen any kind of gory horror movie, you know what the first kill is like. But I want to talk about this scene as much as I can show you, because we have an interesting piece of lore here that I just feel like needs to be addressed. So when she's attacked, she's running from the shark. But by the time the shark gets her, she...
Get away from me!
By the time that the shark gets her, she is out of the cornfield. She's out. So this tells us that just because someone's out of the cornfield don't mean they're safe. So sharks can come out of the corn if they want to? I mean, I guess it would make sense, because to get in the corn, they would have had to be out of the corn to get to the corn from the ocean in the first place. So really nowhere's safe. Something else I want to talk about, though, in this scene is the way that the actual shot is filmed. And while they're leaning on CGI because, like, or, you know, effects, because they kind of have to, they're honestly making the most of it, and I can't fault them for that. They're doing a pretty decent job of what they can do without it. In terms of the angle of the shark and the shot and all that kind of stuff, it's well done. It's goofy, but it's, like, functional goofy? It's practical. And what gets me is we get some slow shots of her body, right? Of the carnage or whatnot. But the shark just, like, turns around and leaves. It's not even insinuated that he ate her. He just turns around and goes back into the corn. So, like, did he get bored? Did she just taste that bad? Because I've never seen a shark be like, nah, you know what? I think I'm good. Actually, I think I'm good. Bye. Not when it comes to food, at least. At least that's what I'm assuming that this shark saw her as, because I'm pretty sure they're not trying to portray this shark as a shark actually is, where, like, they actually have no interest in eating humans, and when they bite, it's usually because it's a mistake, and then when they bite and they're like, oh, sorry, and then swim away. That's not what is insinuated here. So, like, was she yucky, or... Oh, he was probably, like, going back to get some pepper or spices or condiments or something like that. That makes sense. Then we are taken indoors, where we're shown a montage of shots that are clearly some kind of altar. There's shark pictures flanked by driver's license and ID cards. Great start. Okay, so he's got a glowing shark necklace. He's very, very into his hyperfixation, which, good for him, go off king. But I have to wonder about room service. I know, he could hang a do not disturb sign on the doorknob, but, like, judging by the setup, just outsider's opinion, judging on the setup, the intricacy of this, how long has he been here? Because surely, someone has had to be in there, like, once. Correct me if I'm wrong, people who may be housekeepers or hostesses or maintenance people, whatnot, in the hospitality industry, but, like, there's a certain time where, like, you do have to go in the room for, like, safety and health concerns and stuff, right? So someone's had to be in there, let's just say, like, once. Honestly, though, they probably didn't even blink an eye. It's a motel in a small town. They have definitely seen weirder. Not to mention it's in Kentucky. Baby, they live weirder. I love you, fellow Kentuckians. I don't know why I said fellow. I'm not from there. Just your neighbor to the south. So after that lovely little introduction, we're shown another montage of him permanently removing women from this plane of existence. Let's just put it that way. And then that's interspersed with footage of aggressive shark behavior, mixed in with him feasting on his victims like he is a shark. So he's clearly a finny or a scaly or whatever the correct subgenre of furry is. I have one question. Why the orange ski mask? Why? Typically, you know, I'm from down south. Typically that kind of orange is hunter's orange, which makes sense because he's hunting women, but that kind of orange for hunting is for hunting safety. So we get more of the same. Clearly he is some shark-themed killer. There's a lot of insinuation, though, that he's not just some shark-themed killer. There's something deeper going on here. Some actual connection with sharks and what he's doing. Sharks are a part of him. Sharks are part of his soul. He's kenning them. Then Stonehenge. So there's some kind of ability or power coming from his necklace that somehow involves Stonehenge and relates to sharks. That's all we know so far.
Time to kill.
Oh, is that what time it is? Because I thought it was time for a word from our sponsors. This channel is not sponsored. Why would I ever be? Look at me. Actually, don't. Imagine the video just ended right there. I was like, actually, I don't want you to look at me. I'm done. I'm cool. I just do the rest of the video like this. So in the next scene, this is what happens when Chey films past 10 p.m. and the ADHD comes out in one dose. Stop it. I'm sorry, that was mean.
Yeah, I'm fine. I just don't want you to worry about me, okay? And don't send anybody down here to check on me.
You know, I don't know why. Somehow I feel like she's gonna regret that.
Wow, look at you. You're all dressed up and incognito.
Is he, though? When he's just wearing a half mask? So they make this business arrangement, and the whole time, he don't say a word. He just nods. Which, this supposedly takes place during the pandemic and social distancing, just so you know, the movie is, like, during 2020, 2021. So, he's kind of being respectful in a way. Not social distancing, but, you know, he's got the mask. He's not, you know, opening and breathing on her. At least not yet. So they go back to his room, you know, where the weird shark altar is. And when I first watched this, I thought, okay, this is gonna be pretty cut and dry. She's gonna see the altar, she's gonna freak out and be his next victim. Yeah, no, she's cool with it.
Oh, wow.
Actually, she's like super into it.
Oh my god, look at all of this cool stuff.
And honestly, I can't lie and say that I wouldn't be either, because I have hyperfixation shelves around my house. Who am I to judge?
Dude, you must really be into sharks or something. What is all of this stuff?
Wait, when did he put that on? So while she's just fascinated by this altar, he's kind of mimicking like he wants to bite her, or he's trying to figure out where. Or maybe it's just a warm-up because his jaws were starting to cramp up from trying to hold up that mask on his nose. Been there, brother. What happens next is honestly kind of sweet, because he must obviously be impressed with her, because he kind of opens up to her.
The great white is the greatest creature that ever lived.
Oh, so they're just his favorite animal. That's really not—
They are goddesses.
Ew. Probably shouldn't have sneezed into an open wound, quoth the War of 1812.
They are goddesses.
They are goddesses. So, all great whites are goddesses? Are we insinuating then that all great whites are female? You know, at first I wanted to call bull on that, because, like, scientifically, how would they reproduce? But it turns out, apparently, female sharks can do it on their own. It's called parthenogenesis. I was a history major and not a science one for a reason. Parthenogenesis. What am I thinking of? I didn't realize this movie would be so educational. Realizing that he's finally got an audience for his hyperfixation, he starts going on more and more about some cool facts about sharks, talking about their different strengths, and the way that they've survived multiple extinctions.
Nobody knows the power of the great white. But they're about to find out. We are one with them.
We are family. Parthogenesis it with me. Actually, that would defeat the purpose, because it's about them being able to do it by themselves. He is trying so hard to give her hints, to give her this info dump, and she is just not getting it.
Okay, so what are you, like a marine biologist or something? Like, George Costanza?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, okay.
He's an inspiration. Try this on.
I'm gonna wear this like a crown.
Does anyone else get Smeagol Gone Rogue vibes from that? Just me? Okay. So after he attacks her with these shark jaws, he is just going to town, attacking her. And again, I can't show you this, so I'm going to describe it for you, but even then it's still disturbing. So if you don't want to hear this, this is your warning for a kind of gross description for the next 5 seconds. It's really cool though. Like, the way that it looks, the way that it happens is like actually pretty cool for a horror movie. I'm a fan. But the bottom half of her face, like her jaw, is kind of ripped open like a flower, like a poinsettia. Okay, it's safe to come back. Welcome back. All you need to know is that her lower jaw is messed up. It's bad. This is where we get a lot of info dump.
This is your bidding, Chichimato. This is my offering. All true believers will persevere in the war that is about to conclude. My work is near complete.
So then he takes her out to the cornfield and buries her. Okay, so now we know this is all coming together. Then the movie goes back to the scene of the crime. Literally, the first one, where this cop, who is clearly not in regulation dress code in a million different ways, is doing her absolute best to put up the crime scene tape. Meanwhile, the detective is questioning the only other survivor, the Corn King. The Corn King is actually being pretty honest and straightforward. The detective is clearly not believing him though, because his story sounds like bupkis, but we do learn that the woman's name is Susan. However, I don't care about any of that. I want you to pay attention to the background, because my first watch through, I honestly didn't even listen to this conversation that was happening between those two. Because what is she wrapping the tape around? When we first saw this scene, when we first came here, she already had some of that tape set up. So is she starting over again? We know from the beginning of the movie that the body is outside the cornfield. It's off to the side. Why are you taping that area off? You don't know that that was the area of contact or that's where anything even happened. You just got there and you're trampling all over the crime scene like a bull in a china shop. Anyway, the detective don't believe him. He does believe that the part about them getting involved is true. However, he obviously don't believe the shark part. But what he thinks happened is that Susan rejected the Corn King, which, why would she? She's not crazy. But he thinks that then Bearded Weirdo wouldn't take no for an answer. Bingo bango, splat.
You got too aggressive, and then she fought off.
I mean, no, Constable. I mean, it's absolutely nothing like that. I mean...
Oh, he's a constable? Explains a lot.
Things were getting exciting, and I just must have had too much to drink, and I passed out.
And you didn't see anything or hear anything?
Where? Where is she going with this? Where?
No, I didn't. I mean, honestly, you gotta believe me, I didn't.
Well, what do you make of that mauling she got?
From the looks of things, it looks, I mean, it could have been a wild animal. I mean...
It is going all over the place. Someone help her. Please? She's clearly wrapping it around an area, but there's nothing there! The body is over there! We learn that the bearded guy's name is Gary, and as an explanation for what happened to Susan, he offers up some of the cryptid theories that Susan had been spouting about the cornfield. Because he can't really explain what happened to her, he didn't see the shark. So he suggests it might have been Bigfoot or aliens.
Could have been a Bigfoot.
Bigfoot? Aliens? You and your brother Jonathan would like that, wouldn't you? Be great press and publicity for his newspaper and real estate ventures. Get people to come out here and buy some of these farms, look for old Sasquatch.
Why did he say it like that?
Sasquatch.
New verbal stem acquired. Poor Gary is trying to defend himself, but the detective just ain't buying it. Gary even tries to ask me, he's like, you think we could make up scratches and bites? The detective does not care. Gary also tries to explain that his brother is up in Lexington working, so there's no possible way it could have been his brother, but the detective says, unfortunately for you then, you're the one going in. Come along, sonny. What happens is one of the most bizarre, at least in practicality, exchanges I've ever seen in a movie like this.
Officer Rosenberg, anything from our field team out there?
What do you mean, do you see anything out there? You're right there! You're with them! Do you see anything? Is this the buddy cop version of just texting when you're in the same room? She's right there! Dude, just talk to her!
Just a scarecrow with a shark's head. And Susan's tracks.
You're looking at her!
Should we close the cornfield?
The way he gets closer to hear her IRL, and then still talks to her through the freaking walkie-talkie.
No, I don't think we should be closing the cornfields. We got everything we need right here.
What follows is an exchange that's very Jaws-like. You know, we gotta close the fields because of the shark threat. And it's like, we can't close the fields.
It's harvest season.
I don't know if my eyes went out of focus just there for a second or if my camera did. I'm hoping it was my camera because that would have been very thematic, but I think it was my eyes. Focus. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah.
People gotta pay their bills. Right? Shark scarecrow. Huh!
People's reactions in this movie are wild.
Huh!
Then we're transported into a Mission Impossible story. We've got these people that are trampling through the woods, clearly trying to infiltrate some sort of base or some sort of area. They come across this Indiana Jones type tripwire trap that they honestly could have just walked around. They find shark fins in the ground like it's some kind of graveyard. Clearly these people are after something that's being guarded in this bunker by these wannabe Siths and Reeboks. The dude looks right at him as they pass by and says nothing. He's like, this job can't even give me matching shoes. They don't pay me enough to stop no robber. Oh, hello. After a little bit more sleuthing and sneaking, we find out that what they're after is like a shark pup in jello, kind of set up at its own little altar that also seems to somehow be connected to Stonehenge. And since this thing is being guarded by shark fanatics like our killer, it's pretty safe to say that this is like an organization or a cult, definitely not just a one-man endeavor that they're dealing with. Thing is though, if this thing is so important, why is it being kept in an open outbuilding like salt from the highway department on a 2-lane back road? I will say they do make pretty clever use of the lighting and the sound here. It's an alarm! When did they have time to set a charge? When did that happen? We follow them back to the car where they've made some kind of monetary deal with this guy in exchange for this artifact. What this guy wants with a jelloed shark pup? I haven't the faintest.
Any problems? Nothing we ain't facing third world shitholes before.
Is Kentucky a third world? Knocked loose. How you feel about that?
Let me get your money. Half now, half after I sell the item, like we agreed.
Sounds like a deal to me. Let's make it happen.
Deception. Disgrace. He blew blow darts just right into your face.
Sorry to be a Danny Downer, guys, but this is just too important.
It's not enough for them to take the money and the artifact, though. They gotta try and shoehorn in as much corn jokes as they possibly can, just to, you know, drive the stake in a little bit deeper.
Life. It's rougher than a cob, ain't it?
What? Then we cut to this lady who is looking for something in the corn. We're not quite sure what it is, but it's clearly important enough where she's out there in the middle of the night looking around.
I know I saw you in here. Come to Mama. My. What big feet you have. I guess I'll just have to follow your footprints.
Oh, she must be looking for a
Sasquatch.
I really hope that there's no off-brand knockoff version of that guy in the gorilla suit from that one episode of SpongeBob just lurking out there ready to jump scare. Whoa!
Wait! Sasquatch!
way that she doesn't chase after him. She just kind of calls after him. She doesn't run. She doesn't give chase. She just lets him have his privacy. Very respectful.
Come back!
Ha! Gotcha! It's a real estate ad! And it's not even about real estate.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Gottlieb, and I'm here to offer you a little slice of Kentucky magic right here in Druid Hills. You can be a monster hunter. You can look all around for all the creatures the locals say they see. And if you're interested, I'm ready to sell you a property today.
It's just the gimmick of being a cryptid hunter and using real estate as a means to do it. I mean, it's kind of clever. What's funny is that I could actually see this being a real local TV ad in the South. But can you imagine if they did this for other businesses? Has this ever happened to you? Man, there ain't nothing like taking a nice drive on a backcountry road in late fall in the afternoon just before it starts getting dark. It's just so beautiful, so peaceful, quiet. See so much nature, so much wildlife. Was that a f***ing chupacabra? Have you or a loved one ever been injured in a car accident due to chupacabra defense negligence? Due to increases in chupacabra migrations through our local areas, big companies are taking reckless measures to protect their corporate interests by implementing technology to divert the chupacabras. However, this often stuns or even disorients the chupacabras, making them a danger to local roadways, especially since the populated centers are where these measures are most concentrated. So if you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident due to a chop shop drop of chupacabras getting zopped, don't hesitate. Call Chey and Chey today. When big corporations want to suck you dry, we suck back.
1-800-BIG-FEET. That's right, 1-800-BIG-FEET for Jonathan Gottlieb. That's me. We're Druid Hills Realty all the way.
You know, I gotta be honest, man. I think most people calling that hotline are not looking to invest in land, brother. I gotta be honest. We're then introduced to the lady chief of police who was watching that ad and is clearly not happy.
Gottlieb, I swear, you make sure you stay in Druid Hills with that bologna sandwich stuff. We've got enough problems in this world without adding Bigfoot to the mix.
But she is sitting in her car flicking through pictures of Bigfoot. I mean, to each their own. She gets a call on the walkie from a deputy informing her that another deputy was sent by someone named Lorna's house and unfortunately has to report that she is still missing. She seems stressed about this, but we don't know why yet. Then he's back. He just rolls up and stops and stares directly at her. Then he just takes off again after it probably registers oh crap, that's a cop. So of course she goes after him, pulls him over, and when she goes up to the window to talk to him, she looks in the back seat and basically finds a prosecuting lawyer's wet dream of incriminating evidence. Literally anything and everything that could throw him in jail. He's got body parts, IDs, hair, a frog? You know how they say anything and everything can be used against you in the court of law? He's why they say that. After a little bit of a struggle, she gets him down on the ground, to which he replies,
I'm gonna bite you in half.
Which, you know, is a key opener in diplomatic relations, I've heard.
You're not gonna bite shit.
But as she's telling him a botched version of his Miranda rights, he honestly drops one of the hardest lines I have ever heard in a horror movie like this.
Court of law. You're not gonna make it to a court of law.
I know it's not super original, but hey, hard is hard, bro. They have a little bit of a back and forth, but he makes a remark about the lady cop looking familiar, and then we're shown footage of the girl he took out at the motel. We can only assume that this probably means that the two are related, or at least somehow are familiar with each other, but who's to say yet? There's no segue to the next part. You just need to see it. This piece of dazzling technology introduces us to Jonathan, the brother of Gary. This is the guy that, as a reminder, not only owns the real estate company with the amazing ad, but is also apparently a YouTuber, owns the newspaper, and is an avid cryptid enjoyer. So he's out surveying the cornfield, probably for more real estate, when he notices something. It's sharks. Not just one, multiple, many There's a whole swarm of them patrolling the rolls of corn. Yep. See, that's gonna be your problem right there. Got yourself a shark infestation. You're gonna want to get that checked out. I got a guy who's the cousin of the guy that does my drywall. He'll come out and look at that for you. Be no trouble at all, brother. No, I'll be happy to do it for you. I write my name and number down there for you, and you get in contact with Louise. He'll get you all set up right. That was my impersonation of a contractor in the Deep South. Thank you. I spent too long trying to do that stupid joke. Here's another little detail that no one else cares about. Compact laptop. My first ever home PC was a compact. I honestly don't know if that's how you say the name either. That's just how I pronounce it. So I was frankly surprised to see a compact laptop because I didn't even know they existed. Because yeah, I had the home PC and I blatantly remember having Atari games on it, but that's neither here nor there. I didn't know they made laptops. Because this was back in like 2002, 2004. So I Googled it because I was like, hey, do they even exist anymore? It turns out that the company was bought by HP and eventually shut down in 2013. But this movie was made in 2021. So that means that the sharks ain't the only prehistoric creatures in this film. So while Jonathan is trying to wrap his mind around his whole shark infestation problem, he gets a call about his brother being in jail. He finds out that Gary is being held on possible murder charges for poor Susan, so he runs off to try and go help him. Meanwhile, Mr. Blow Dart Man, that's what we're calling him now, he's walking through the woods to his own secret rendezvous with the Forest Mafia, or as he calls them, Jeffrey and his goon squad.
Always a pleasure, Jeffrey. See you have your goon squad with you?
You can probably guess what's going to happen here, but the guy that plays Jeffrey is honestly a pretty good type to play a mafioso character, like out of the entire group. He has fun with it, and he nails it for the movie.
Hey, you know you can't be too careful. When you're chasing diamonds in the sky, you could never be too careful.
The other dude is clearly just a dumb comedic relief that repeats the tail end of whatever Jeffrey says like a dumb parrot. That's his whole gimmick. And he's always eating. So we learn that there's some kind of deal going on between these two groups, and when Mr. Blowdart Man asks for his money, these two kids who look like they just stepped out of the Halloween section of the clearance aisle at Walmart are apparently in charge of it. And Blowdart Man, whose name we learn is Murray, is not impressed. And honestly, neither am I. But the way that Murray handles this is interesting because his suspicion doesn't seem to lie with the fact that they're children, but it's about not being sure if they're the good guys.
I'm not quite sure if you all are the good guys.
Which is like, are there good guys in this scenario? You're the one that just paid people to rob and blow up a place for a thing that you then robbed them of. So I'm not really sure that a moral compass is a high priority here. And I'm definitely not sure that I trust yours. But then Jeffrey has this very philosophical take on it.
Murray. Where have you been? We're 2 decades into the 21st century, man. There are no good guys anymore. Just graycoats. Blending of the dark and the light. A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
I can't get this out of my mind, and I hope that you'll understand. The subtle music reminds me of Mr. Krabs' World's Smallest Violin. Okay, as some sort of burden of proof that they're the good guys, they talk about not wearing those shark necklaces, so we definitely get confirmation that the shark necklace people are some sort of organization.
So, do you want the money now or not?
I guess I do, and to get as far away from here as possible.
Well, you can try, and the money will surely give you that option. Go get that shishy middle, pup.
You're on this.
They're on it.
They're on it.
They're on it. I don't know what map they're using, but if you look at it, it's clearly got roads on it. I don't think that's going to be helpful here. Either y'all are really lost, or you're reading a different map entirely. I will tell you, though, this following scene, I'm pretty sure it's improvised. I'm pretty fairly certain. But I say that positively because it's really cute.
Wait, what's that? Wait, hold on. Hold this. Hold this.
So the two are wandering around through the cornfield looking for this object, and they get it. But watch out, because they're not alone.
We got it.
Stonehenge is pissed. So the shark begins chasing after him, running through the field. They're running, they're screaming, and when did she get a bottle of water? Girl, just throw it down. Maybe that's what the shark wants. That's what he's always relied on. He's thirsty. Maybe that's why the sharks are attacking. They want the water. It don't care that you got the freaking pup. It wants that water, dude. And I'm pretty sure I almost have an exact copy of the shark model that they're using. It may not be 100% match, but it's pretty close. And then we're back to the mafia boss who somehow knows that those two have got, that they've been taken out, even though they're out of his sight. And if they weren't, why were you just standing there when this was happening? Self-preservation? I respect it, but still. Rightfully so, Big Mafia Dad is pretty upset.
Double cross! Double cross! You and your partners!
He's mad about Murray double-crossing him, about leading those two into an ambush, and Murray's like, it's time to go. It's time to run. But Jeffrey isn't going to let him get away that easily, so he raises a 6-shooter in the slowest motion possible. And because of that, I was like, Murray is going to be so far gone. Oh, and he's walking. He's just walking away. Not threatened at all.
Benchley, get back here, you scoundrel!
I love that. That's what I want my future fiance to call for me down the aisle. You scoundrel! Forget I do. Call me a scoundrel. So the poor repeating fella has been left on his own to look for the pup, but Murray sees a fin in the corn and manages to get to the pup first. The shark gives chase, and Murray is the king of underrating because he kind of just prances away. He clearly thinks that he just needs to get out of the cornfield and then he'll be safe, but we know from the first girl that the shark can come out of the corn and still attack. Oh, he's fine. Jeffrey then comes up to the guy who clearly didn't even try to get the pup, but he's still breathless for some reason. He wasn't the one outrunning the shark. He's very apologetic. He feels bad for disappointing, you know, the big dog, the big boss. He's like, oh no, I'm so sorry. He got away with all the stuff. And Jeffrey, the big boss, is like, oh, don't worry about it. I put a tracker in his bag. We'll catch up. Why did you give chase then? We then go to the interrogation room where we're with the chief of police and the killer who we now know is named Teddy.
Now, Teddy, we're gonna start at the beginning again. Is that okay?
Yeah. Sure. You got another milkshake.
When she tells him she's gonna record a story and she pulls out this contraption and he's like, what the crap is that? What she tells him is probably the most true thing of this entire movie.
It's mine from home, if you must know.
I'm gonna be honest though, if she showed that to me and said that she brought that from home, that it's a recorder, I wouldn't believe her. That thing looks like a cattle prod. I know a cattle prod when I see one. I don't trust that for a second.
So I pulled you over for a traffic infraction, and I found dismembered body parts in your vehicle. Are you denying that?
No denial. It's just my work.
That's a relief. He's just been all over the country taking out people left and right. No, really, that's what he says.
I've been on the road for years. All over the Midwest states. Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Ohio, here in Kentucky. Just killing folks. Killed so many I barely remember their faces.
Hi. Local audio engineer here. I want to point out I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I have to be that girl. The mic isn't even plugged into the recorder.
Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3.
I'll go.
So are you trying to tell me that you're a mass murderer?
What's funny is she's not even really convinced, even though she's the one that found the body parts in his car.
That's what you want to call it, yes. This is my calling in life.
I love how he's like, it's my purpose. You don't get it. You don't understand me, Mom. It's not a phase. Still, though, she is not buying it. She starts hitting him with a lot of different info, and it seems like there's not only a confession, but a lot of evidence racking up against him. Not just what they found in his car, but from past crimes that they've already suspected him of. He is looking at some serious charges in time. But he's got bigger problems.
These fries are rubbery. They're too cold and chewy for my taste. But yes, that's exactly how I kill someone. I am the shark. I am one with the great white goddess Chichimatol.
Finally, we get to the heart of the situation. Chichimatol.
The new Chichimatol order is coming. I kill for sacrifices. They are martyrs. Their blood will initiate a new establishment of society.
And so this Chichimatol, as you call it, is this your god?
She is not a good listener, is she? Is she related to Tape Girl? Is that who she's related to? They both just seem a little bit confused. Or maybe she's just unimpressed.
Goddess. Great white shark goddess. There is no higher aspiration than to be one with her. To usher in her bidding of a new species of shark humanoids. A loftier, perfect new race that will rule the world. Great whites are focused, higher-end predators. They never lose. 25-foot torpedoes shooting through the sea like bullets. Afraid of nothing, propelling themselves completely out of the water when necessary. Air demons. No bounds, no mercy.
Air demons, no bounds, no mercy. Sounds like a horror movie version of Air Bud. Air Bud better watch out. He's got some stiff competition this time.
As we will become sharkanoids from the deep. They even have organs to sense the tiny electromagnetic fields generated by prey and the higher alien calling of transformation pulsating from Stonehenge.
Okay, there we go. That makes sense. I mean, I guess, because sharks do have those receptor things in their head, so they're just... The sharks are talking to Stonehenge? Got it. But what do sharks care about aliens? And what do aliens care about sharks? He then goes on to explain that he's taken out a bunch of people in the name of sacrifices, and that he personally can talk to Stonehenge, and the voices from Stonehenge tell him what to do, namely in regards to those sacrifices.
Pulsing sensations that mystically guide me.
And because Stonehenge tells him what to do, that's why he allowed himself to get caught. Because Stonehenge told him to. Why does that seem like a defense that Jared Leto's The Joker would make?
And I'm not the only one, you know. There are hundreds more like me out on the road. All members of the shark cult on their way to becoming. We're not even afraid of the devil, man. He fears us. For we have teeth and we bite.
The devil fears them because they have teeth and they bite. Does the devil not have teeth? Imagine the devil is just like this toothless grandpa. Kind of takes the fear out of it, doesn't it? She then goes on to ask him that because of what he believes, does he believe in other things like Bigfoot?
Do you happen to believe in Bigfoot too?
Huh?
Why'd he say it like that? He almost seems like offended.
Huh?
Come on, man. You believe in a shark goddess taking orders from a pile of rocks, but a big furry cryptid walking around on two legs is too much for you? Got it. Got it. Got it.
You said I looked familiar. Do you know this girl? She's missing. And we found some of her blood in the motel room.
My. She looks a lot like you. I couldn't be sure, but yeah, I probably offed her.
I'm going to hell, aren't I? He sounds like my mom. So he goes on, and he talks about the different sacrifices, and he says that it's a dead-end job, but it's fine, because his reward is in the becoming. So, continuing on her line of questioning, she asks him where the bodies are, and he says, I don't know. I don't freaking remember. You think I wrote down the address? But then he totally contradicts himself, because he says that he could ride there in a car and show her the way blindfolded. Then we're taken to a quick cut with Murray where his car won't start, which, you know, karma! Literally. So he's gotta walk. I only mention this now because it's an important plot device that will help us later. We cut to the police station where Jonathan shows up in what may be one of the most awkward filming cuts Immediately, right off the bat, he starts talking to the constable that he is adamant his brother Gary did not do this. He doesn't know what happened, but he is adamant that Gary is not at fault. However, the constable is convinced it's one of them, and he starts off not with convincing evidence, not even the circumstances. He just starts bashing Jonathan.
Well, let's see here what we got here. Mr. Bob Woodward himself, prize-winning editor, Pulitzer Prize, Corn magazine. But I digress. Not exactly Rolling Stone. We got one dead local holiday here, Susan Blake. And we got your brother, Gary, running around in the cornfields. Lots of boozing going on and schmoozing. Let me ask you a question. Who do you think did it? Friggin' Bigfoot? Maybe it was the Bigfoot in your TV commercial, the one where brother Gary is running around playing this Sasquatch.
And Jonathan's like, why would I do that? That's bad PR. Which is a good point, and clearly not one the constable was expecting, because this is where he starts to stumble.
You don't care, gossip. Anything that's good for your own real estate ventures and publicity. Well, you know what, Gottlieb? Nobody likes you in this town, let alone Mayor Zanuck or me.
That's when you know you've lost the argument. What is this, kindergarten? Yeah, well, you're ugly and no one likes you. There are sharks in the freaking corn, dude.
We don't like the fact that you came from money, right? And we had to bust our asses and make a living through farming and corn.
Ah, okay, so we have some class discrepancy going on. I see. See, the thing is, newspapers... no offense to all my newspaper conglomerate owners out there, but newspapers are like a dying venture. They're like dying at a severe rate. So wouldn't Jonathan be like hemorrhaging whatever money he had for it to stay afloat? I mean, I guess real estate could be helping to supplement that, but still, the constable is acting like this is $1 million venture.
You run around with your newspaper, all your real estate listings that run this town, airing everybody's dirty laundry.
Learn the main reason that the constable isn't a big fan of Jonathan is that Jonathan is the one who broke the story about the constable and his mistress. Yikes. Jonathan then goes on to show the constable what we saw him looking at earlier, videos of sharks in the cornfield. This should be the evidence, right? Like, this should be the thing that makes the constable stand up and be like, wait a darn minute. But what Jonathan says is interesting because he says it's the second time he's seen this. But to be fair, to his credit, he does say the only reason he's bringing it up now is because the first time he just thought he was seeing things, which, you know, fair enough. And true to form, the constable also believes that Jonathan is seeing things.
I had enough of this. Malarkey, I want you out of my office right now. That looks like there's some clouds in the sky going by.
Clouds? Clouds wiggle like that? But to also be fair to the constable, I can see his reason to doubt. I mean, I think anyone would, because how are sharks living in that cornfield? How are they living without water? How are they swimming, flying, whatever the hell they're doing? How are they doing it? Especially, how are they doing it without water? Jonathan, though, keeps insisting he didn't have time to make it up.
And if you expect to come out with one peep about something as stupid as farmers and the cornfields and sharks out there, I'm gonna have you out of here for fake news propaganda.
Throw him out of here, Sheriff. I want him out of my courtroom. I want him out of our town.
And, even more interestingly, he's done some research and found out some information about a shark cult. However, the constable is like, it's a good harvest this year, man. People gotta die.
Those are sharks, and I know what a shark looks like because I keep seeing them in the cornfields.
That doesn't sound like a qualification. I mean, yes, you do, but that in itself doesn't seem like that should be a qualification. Because have you never seen a shark otherwise? If that's true, then you can say that about anything. So anyway, while all this is going on... Hey, yeah? I found something you probably gonna want. Dude! I forgot I even had this! I could've used this earlier, but I just didn't even think about it. Yeah, of course you didn't. But that's why you got me here to help, right? I mean, there will be some continuity errors, but, that ain't my problem. Moron. Continuity errors. Yeah, like you're one to talk. Where's your jacket? What, so you're allowed to change clothes and I ain't? Will you just get out of here, please? Back at the police precinct, Chief Vera is prepping to take Teddy out on a drive, that way he can lead her to his grave burial site place. Now that she's through interrogating him and she's got all this information, she admits that she probably should have handed all this over to the higher authorities, you know, considering that he's a known and wanted criminal by various agencies. But if she did, she wouldn't be the one getting all the credit. Who cares about serving justice in a timely manner? She has got to be the only one able to have that tagline in her bio. So anyway, to help her, Sam, her deputy, ends up giving her a backpack full of supplies that they supposedly confiscated from a peaceful protest. It's weapons. It's just a bunch of weapons, including a grenade.
Weapons in there that you might find useful. Feel much safer with that.
Yeah. She clearly does.
All right. It's all yours.
Alright.
All right, Chief, I'll be out in dispatch for the next 24 hours, so.
While Jeffrey and Fedora Man are still up in their helicopter trying to track down Benchley, we got a little something going on down in the cornfields below. Now, considering this whole movie so far, you might think that I'm about to say there's another gruesome scene happening with the sharks. Some unsuspecting victim, maybe some farmer, wandered too far into the cornfields and, got chomped. No. Actually, what we have is a very, very welcome reprieve from the guts and gore that we've been introduced to. Really, it's a heartwarming scene, that shows that even in the midst of all this violence and chaos, there can still be everyday moments of love and life. There's a father and son playing frisbee down in the cornfield. Yeah, they're playing frisbee in the cornfield.
Whoa, that was a good one.
You live in the rural South. There are places with grass. Even in November, even in harvest season in fall, I promise, there are places with grass. Still don't believe me? Check it out for yourself. Convinced? He is further proof that grass does actually exist in the South. Because, it's kind of what he eats. It's kind of what, in fact, it's what he's eating right now. This is a stupid bit. A cornfield is just a terrible place to play frisbee. You are gonna get itched up by dry stalks. You're gonna run into rotten corn cobs, all kinds of bugs and chiggers, and all kinds of different itchy plants that you don't want nothing to do with. And you never know when a big fella just might want to come in and join your game. Not a good place to play frisbee. It'd be like me trying to film a YouTube video in the middle of a field with my horse. Stormy legally is obligated to make a cameo anytime I make a video that has to do a part outside. Sir, please! I love him so much. Sir? His appearance fee? Yes, hold on. I'm making sure it's presentable for you. Your appearance fee. Thank you. Thank you. Big fans. Big fans. So while they're trying to play and have a good time, this mama is worried to hell and high water back about the UV rays and her son getting sunburned. And while we love a skincare conscious queen, especially regarding your youngins, she goes a little bit overboard with it, considering that there are also other things that she probably needs to be a little bit more concerned about, like your decision-making skills going out to play frisbee in a cornfield.
Ray Arbogast, you're gonna get Billy sunburned if you keep him out here much longer. Oh, no!
Lighten up, Barbara. Trying to have a little father-son time here. It's not like we get to do this every day.
I know. You just have to watch it. I mean, there's no ozone left, all the ultraviolet rays. You have to watch it when they're young. You know that already, okay?
What is wrong with her?
The kid, though, has a very rational fear.
Oh, I'm kinda scared there might be snakes back.
Oh, there ain't no snakes in the corn.
You're right. There are sharks in the corn.
There you
God, that's a...
Well, you'll be all right. Get there and get it.
This is a very violent happening going on right here, yet it does not seem to register with him.
Sorry,
He threw that daggone frisbee within view, and yet this whole time that his son's just getting he just, no idea. There's all this noise and blood and stuff flying everywhere, and he's just... I don't know what it is about this cornfield that people apparently can't see other people 5 feet daggum in front of them, even though they're right there. With the sharks, is there some kind of invisible vision shield or something? I need more of a sci-fi friend to give me the terminology for something like that. A vision shield? And he doesn't know what's going on, just like that one cop, the detective, constable, whatever he is, couldn't see his freaking deputy? What is going on in this cornfield besides the sharks? Honestly, you know what? Now that I'm on it, that concerns me more than the sharks. Because you can avoid the sharks by just not going in the cornfield. We've seen they can come out of the cornfield, but if you don't go to the cornfield in the first place, sharks probably won't get a whiff of you. But why can't people see people in the cornfield? Is it people outside the cornfield can't see people inside the cornfield? That's a bigger mystery. That's to be solved later. Anyway, when he finally does, I want y'all to know that that tangent was not in the script. That just came out of me as I was realizing something. And that, baby, is what you get when you have 25 years of unmedicated ADHD going strong. When he finally notices what's happening, finally, we get one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen in a horror movie.
So I threw it back in there, so... Shark!
Where? Did the shark just like lob it at him? I think the shark was just confused. I think he was trying to play. No, shark, that's not a frisbee, that's a head. He saw them tossing something around, throwing it back, and he was like, hey, I got a better idea. This'll be much easier to catch. Good intention, you know, good intention, bad execution. It's like when you throw one of your rocks in the creek for your Labrador to go get, and he goes and digs in it and dunks underwater, and he brings back a similar rock, but it's not the same, and you're like, good job, buddy. Good job. Did I just compare a shark with a child's head to a Labrador with a creek rock? Yeah. Honestly, sharks are sea dogs. What are rocks? And people talk about heads being full of rocks. Good intention, bad execution. Just like this video, baby! I like that she went back and got the umbrella, even though they just watched something, you know, tragic and violent happen to their loved one, to their child. Skincare. The sharks may get me. Helios will not. Apollo, send down your rays, but not today. I got bigger problems going on, Apollo. I ain't got time for none of your mess. Imagine Apollo, but in today's Kentucky. Oh god, there is no blooper reel. This whole video is just a fucking blooper reel. Play Your Feeble Neck by No Cure. I'm dizzy. That's my No Cure impression. Thank you. So we're back with Chief Vera, and she is finally driving Teddy out to wherever his burial mounds, the cornfields, are. What stuck out to me, though, in these first couple of shots is the fact that he really does not seem to be handcuffed. We never get a shot of his hands, but the way that he's moving suggests to me that he is not handcuffed. Not to mention, there's clearly no bars, no roll cage, nor anything in the back of the car that is preventing him from reaching forward and harming her if he chose to do so. I just think that that's an interesting choice by the local criminal justice system, considering that he is apparently one of the most wanted criminals in the region, in the area. But you know what? She did mention budget cuts, so maybe they gotta make do.
A real great white shark, you and your cult worship?
Yes. The signal will be received by her electromagnetic sensitivity, not only used for prey, but for intuitive commands like this, when the becoming is to begin. We have members that have been keeping track of her, following her in the Atlantic for decades now. All for the becoming.
That's an incredible belief, Teddy Bear. I mean, it is a little far-fetched, though.
Mock it if you will, cop. I already have electroreception.
I do like this camera angle, though. not burst out laughing at that part. I could not have held it together. Even 20 different takes, I would not have been able to hold it. And that is part of the charm of this movie, at least to me, is the humor in moments like that, where it's not over the top trying to drill home a certain joke, trying to hit a certain punchline. It's little moments like that where you're just kind of like, oh. Oh. Ow. But it's also funny. I don't know. My sense of humor is so freaking weird anyway. Don't worry. They're still in the helicopter. But there is something I want to bring to your attention, which I did not notice on my first couple watches of this, but then when I noticed it, I can't no longer not notice it. The microphone. I didn't even notice it because you take for granted that they just have mics in the shot, but it's like, that was a clever way of hiding it, at least for me, because it didn't stick out to me until when I saw it, and now you saw it, now you have to deal with it. There is no reason for them to, like, make that a fake mic. Like, they could have just easily had, like, the headset like they did. There's no reason for that to be the fake mic unless they're doing it as a gag, which is pretty funny to me, at least. So I have to assume that is a hot mic. Like, that is their live mic for the feed whatever capsule thing that they're in for the helicopter.
Won't be long now, boss. We're coming up on them fast. Technology.
It's just extra funny to me because when I look at that, I think of the meme where it's like, how to mic anything. Does it make sound? 57. I know, it's dumb, but maybe my fellow audio peeps out there will appreciate it. We're finally getting to see the mayor and the local police come together to talk about what the heck is going on. Is she still out there? Oh. She just gave up.
Not much left of old Billy in there, but lots of blood on the corn stalks.
Jesus Christ, what in the name of Randy Travis is going on around here, Kramer?
Oh, now, don't you be taking Randy's name in vain.
Shark attack. They said that Billy went in to get his frisbee and shark ate him right up.
A shark attack? Who said that? Somebody snorting airplane glue? Mushroom eaters?
I've known the Albagas for years. They're straight and narrow, churchgoers, white bread eaters. Kind of eat extra fiber with every meal. We had a similar incident, Mr. Mayor, about a week or so ago in those yonder fields, maybe a mile away. Gary Gottlieb and Susan Blake, same kind of thing happened to them.
Oh, so those took place about a week ago. See, now that makes sense. I have seen this movie about 4 or 5 times now, in like the span of a week. I was not clear on the timeline until like this final watch going through for my script. I'm pretty sure, and I could be relatively wrong, that's always a possibility in the Chey household, I'm pretty sure this is the first time we get a timeline mention, like a idea of the series of events in this story. Because I was just confused of being like, I thought that the first killings happened, and then he was arrested all on the same day. Like, he took out Lorna, and then he got arrested that same day of, like, all the other, like, killings and stuff. No clue. Apparently, it's been a whole week. That makes more sense for the different sequence of events that we're finally seeing.
Which means Gary should be free, gentlemen. You had him locked up when this happened.
Where did he come from?
Oh, Jesus, I need this like a damn billy goat pecker going out the top of my head. What the hell are you doing here, Gottlieb?
This mayor is the most southern mayor. They try to pack as many southernisms as possible into one sentence at one time. Apparently, the guy that played the mayor improv'd a lot of his lines, and I can believe it, but in a good way, because they are so accurate to so many different kinds of southernisms that just... Well done. Like, for real. Well done, bro. And we learned that the newspaper is called the Corn Gazette.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I'm the news of the people around here, and so I'm here in my official capacity with the Corn Gazette, as well as having a personal stake in this matter.
So, Mr. Newsman, what's your big take on all this? Who's behind these gruesome murders? Bigfoot?
Jonathan does end up admitting that the cryptid angle was a marketing gimmick for his business based on some people saying that they had seen Bigfoot around.
One big fat country fib.
So in fancy smancy talk, it's just a bunch of bulldog gravy with no damn bacon on it.
You know, I was worried I would run into Bigfoot out here, and then I'd have a lot of explaining to do.
Why? Why wouldn't that be great? Because you could sell more stuff. What do you mean? Are you planning to do something to Bigfoot? Or are you just scared that Bigfoot somehow has TV, internet access, he's gonna find out you've been using him as a marketing gimmick, and he's gonna track you down because he's gonna want royalties? Anyway, he ends up showing the mayor and the police the same video that he showed the constable earlier, the video of sharks in the cornfield. But this time he adds a little bit more context onto the research he's been doing, telling them that he actually found out that these cornfields are on top of an ancient burial ground. He then goes into the details surrounding the shark cult and all that they believe about their transformation, Chichimatol, the Great Becoming, all that we know already. But the mayor ain't buying it either. So Gottlieb is trying to plead and talk to him because things are getting progressively worse. But not just that, he tells him he doesn't just think it's this cornfield, but cornfields around the world.
Even with the video evidence right in front of you, you won't believe. Listen, I know it sounds completely insane, but lives have been lost, including a little boy's, directly in front of you.
And bless him, he tries one last-ditch effort to try and get him to close down the cornfields with signs.
Something crazy is going on here, and you better do something about it before it swims up and bites you in the cornhole. Now, can we please close down these cornfields and try and get a handle on this?
Did he make those? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but those say by order of the police department. So, did the police department just have those laying around? Because if so, number one, how'd he get hold of them? And if they didn't, did he just Microsoft Word and print those out onto his own like an outcast kid bringing friendship bracelets made out of pumpkin seeds to craft time? Because I was that kid. While they're standing there talking, suddenly they get a call from dispatch saying there was a 911 call where some boys reported a lot of blood, finding some body parts, finding some tracks, and seeing what they believe are 8 to 10 foot great whites in another cornfield not far from there. The mayor finally makes a smart decision and immediately dispatches the cops to go investigate. Gottlieb tries to sneak off to go do his own thing, and the mayor turns around and says, "Hey, whoa, I'm in charge here. I kind of run this town, so if anyone is gonna go be stupid and go get eaten, it's me. Let's go rile that thing up." And he makes sure to tell the cops that if they find anything, take it out. Otherwise, they will finally close the cornfields. Meanwhile, back in Vera's car, they end up running across our mystery guy walking down the road, and she offers him a ride. But then he makes this cheesy comment.
I know you're a cop and all, but didn't your mom teach you not to pick up strangers?
You know, to be a good cop, you've got to have good instincts, right?
Alright.
Yeah.
Our dude has just barely buckled up in the car. They have barely gone a few inches down the road when Vera turns to him and just starts absolutely roasting, just absolutely starts dragging Teddy in the back seat.
This back here, in the back seat, this is Teddy Bo Lucas. Self-proclaimed serial killer or something. So he says he's going to take me up to Druid Hills. There's supposedly a burial mound where he's killed all these people.
Really?
Yeah.
Vera, that's your icebreaker?
Yeah.
That's your icebreaker. I mean, it's better than the one stupid ones they gave us in college, but that's your icebreaker?
So what's your name?
Murray. Murray Benchley.
Well, nice to meet you, Murray. I'm Chief Scheider.
Oh, then they introduced themselves to each other. You know, just spitballing here, I think the order of the topics of those conversations should have been reversed, if the first one should have even happened at all. But you know what? You know, it is very small town cop to be like, get a load of this guy. As they're driving and talking, Teddy looks down and sees the suitcase that our mystery man's carrying. So he asks him what's in it. Dude makes up an excuse, but Teddy seems to be able to see straight through him. That's a bald-faced lie. Teddy just straight up calls him out on it.
Mr. Benchley, I can feel what you have in there. You believe in predestination?
Meanwhile, these two jokes are still trundling after him. The cops finally arrive on scene where the 911 call originated from. They try and fail to make contact with the witnesses, but they decide to go ahead and investigate the claim to follow through with this obviously dangerous, potentially dangerous, and precarious situation. When they get to the cornfield, he tries to send our girl in first. And she's like, no, ain't no way. You coming in with me. You ever try to tell a southern woman to do something that she don't want to do?
Get on in there and let's see if we can find those bodies. The mayor wants to know about this and we got to get back to him right away. Then we're going to go in there and take a look around. If we see anything, we'll just shoot them with our guns.
I don't think that's going to work.
Get in there a little bit closer. Go on. Come on now. Come on.
You go.
Come on. Ladies first. Get on in there deep, Rosenberg. Let's take a look around.
When she does start going in, she keeps trying to force him to come along.
Man, what the hell is the rush, man?
I like her. She's got the common sense of the two. But predictably, they both die. Assistant Deputy Sam then calls Vera to check in, see how it's going, and to tell her about the most recent report of shark attacks happening in the cornfields of Druid Hills.
Well, you be careful out there, Chief. We're getting some odd and discerning reports from Druid Hills.
But he gets a little surprised.
Over and out, Chief. Sharks in the popcorn. Doggone it. Sharks everywhere.
Don't y'all just hate it when that happens? And you know what? Watching him munch on some popcorn made me kindly hungry. So y'all mind if I have some snacks that I always keep when I'm filming because I often get hyperfixated and then I forget to eat. Personally, I like to keep a pack of gummies laying around because they're small, they're easy to eat, you don't have to eat them all at one time. They come in all kinds of different fun flavors and shapes.
Sharks everywhere.
No, it can't be.
Sharks everywhere. Sharks everywhere. Sharks everywhere. Sharks everywhere.
You know what? Let's just get a different snack. I did pop some popcorn earlier because I kind of wanted to watch a movie after this was done. Whenever I get done filming, I like to watch movies just to, like, you know, kind of stop my brain from being fried of it's staring at a different screen. So I've already prepared some popcorn ironically for this. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and snack on some of this because it's light, it's easy. However, it's about this time that Benchley decides to finally come clean about the reason for his presence in all this. We learn that he is a CIA agent that's actually been investigating the shark cult for months.
First we thought the mafia was involved. As of now, I'm not sure what all is going on. But it's officially been upgraded from some crackpot niche group to an actual terrorism threat against the United States.
Against the United States? See, this is gonna get interesting because you know who they usually kind of call to deal with threats on that level? The seals. You know who is one of the natural predators of seals in the wild? Sharks.
You got that right, sucker. It's going down right now. You're going down too.
Jonathan and the mayor are prepping to go investigate that cornfield where a call came in earlier over dispatch talking about the new shark sightings. They're talking about where Jonathan got his spear gun, his harpoon, whatever. But then Jonathan mentions that he's actually kind of stalling for time before they go investigate because he's waiting on another package. And just in the nick of time, it arrives, being carried by the creepiest delivery man who is most definitely not going to give me nightmares later. Now, if you, like me, were afraid that one day this man may show up at your doorstep with a package, have no fear, he gets eaten. Our proud delivery man did not die in vain, though, because what Jonathan ordered will turn out to be crucial. In fact, you can even think of it as a sacrifice for the greater good. It turns out that Jonathan had ordered some shark repellent bracelets. We all have them.
They're designed to work underwater where the sound travels faster and further, but they should have some nominal effect in the open air, in close proximity at least, I hope.
I hope too. Back in the forest, Vera stops the car as they finally arrive at what Teddy has indicated is his burial ground for all of the sacrifices. And of course, Benchley, being the CIA guy, is the more practical one, so he says, hey, we need to take this thing down, we need to go nip this in the bud, take it out, and we need to weapon up. And Vera's got just the thing that old Deputy Sam supplied her with. She says, go on now, get in the trunk. Well, not get in the trunk, but they start arming up with the supplies given to her by the deputy.
I like some peaceful protesters. Okay, I'm gonna need to borrow your phone. Time to call in the big guns. Things are about to get real.
Deception. Disgrace. How many of y'all did I just give you flashbacks to, like, being age 7? But that ain't the only surprise we're in for. Vera then reveals that she is a shark cult member, and we unlock her level 8 tragic backstory.
All my life have been nothing to anybody. I've always been nothing but a failure. Never been good for anybody. I've always been spit on by family and friends.
Why don't you spit back? You got a mouth, girl. Hell, use it. Vera says that her motivation for all this is being able to rebirth her sister, and in that way, finally give her life some meaning.
And I want to be with the becoming of Chi Metal. I didn't believe you at first, Teddy. I really was on the fence about it. But now I know you were telling the truth the whole time.
Okay, she said she didn't believe it at first. But like, when did this transformation happen? And I know this has been taking place over the course of a week since Susan got attacked, but we don't know then when he got picked up and they were being interrogated, but we can only assume, I'm assuming, which is a terrible thing to do, I know, but I'm assuming the interrogation and heading out on the information did not take place within 5 or 6 days of each other, enough for her to mull over this and make it. I'm just wondering when this transformation occurred. And in conjunction with that, when does she have time to get the necklace? I know we didn't get shown it because it's part of the plot, it's part of the surprise, but like, when did it happen? To our knowledge, there's been no time between this and this. So even if she did start believing him from the time of the interrogation to the car, when did she have time to get the necklace? Did it just spontaneously appear when you become a believer? I guess if sharks can spontaneously appear in cornfields because God knows how they got there, you know, considering that they can't breathe without water, I guess shark necklaces aren't that big of a far-fetch, now are they?
This is the 13th pup. The 13th pup from Chi Metal! The people watching over her have been collecting her stillborns for decades. I bury them here in the field with the other martyrs. Like your sister. This is the last one we need to lay to rest for the becoming.
Why bury 13? And how do you know that you needed to bury 13? Was this written down in some kind of shark Bible somewhere? Ask and you shall receive. According to your literature, actually, I don't know if you have the King Hammerhead version or the Caribbean Reef one. That might make a difference. Anyway, so I see this in the shark bite segment about great whites, because that's mainly what we're talking about here is great whites. A pregnant great white can carry as many as 12 babies in her belly. At birth, a pup can weigh up to 60 pounds. Wow, I'm not going to throw that because they might actually come after me. Can carry up to 12, but you need 13. Okay. Little bit of a missing denominator there, which is that being the same number. Now, they do say that these pups are her stillborn, so are they just ones throughout the ages? Was it a whole litter plus one? Could be either. Could be either or. I just find it interesting that they need 13, for which we do not know, when they can only carry up to 12, so to speak, according to the literature. So is the last one actually meant to represent, like, Chi Metal herself coming forth and being rebirthed? Like, is she the final, like, representation and the final pup? Like, the 13th? Getting too deep into the lore that does not actually exist. Tim Ritter, if you happen across this, I would genuinely love to know the answer to that question. Because I think way too much about things that don't need thinking about. So I'm just blatantly curious. Like I said at the beginning of this video, this is not a punching down thing. I legitimately am curious. Like, was there that kind of thought put into it, or was it just like 13's an unlucky number and it's, you know, it's fun, it's whatever. Again, I'm thinking way too much about this. Back in the cornfield, things are heating up. Unfortunately for our mayor, he gets got. But Gottlieb has got 2 brain cells at least, so he takes off. But in true horror movie fashion, when someone's running away, they gotta, say it with me now, trip! Good thing I got my stitches out so I can do that. And luckily for him, Amazing.com didn't fail him. His bracelet saves his life right in the nick of time. However, it may be too late, because Vera and Teddy are already at the ritual site.
Lorna?
I'm sorry, but you are blessed. She's a martyr for Chi Metal now.
So Vera recognizes the skull of her sister, but like, what happened? Did he skin her too and somehow leave all the hair on? Cause she ain't been gone that long. I know this whole timeline is supposed to like happen in a week or so, and we don't know within that week when he took out Lorna versus when this is, but we know from when Susan got attacked, it's been a week through this whole thing. And listen, I am from the state where the body farm is. That don't happen to a skull in a week. Not and still leave the daggum hair intact on it. Though the wig is pretty funny.
So she'll live again when I become the shark goddess.
Yes, but like you said, you have to want to do it for you.
She agrees, and Teddy begins the best interpretive dance I have ever seen.
Feel the power. Feel the power of the blood sacrifices I've made for you with those shark jaws.
Dress as the shark scarecrow, and when the blood moon rises tonight, the Stonehenge energy will give us the cosmic revelations we yearn for.
I feel like he's just making some of these rules up on the fly. So while she dons the outfit from the shark crow to get ready for the ritual, Benchley's in a little bit of a pickle of his own. Benchley's back up and walking again, probably trying to find what little bit is left of his sanity, but since he's out in the wide open, the helicopter guys are finally closing in. That's when they get a front row seat to the view that Jonathan has been trying to show everybody this whole daggum time. And you know what? Maybe Benchley and the CIA were onto something. Maybe the Mafia is involved, because these sharks don't like to leave no witnesses neither. But at least the last thing these two are ever gonna see is sick as hell. Benchley is understandably confused, and he comes across Gottlieb, who confirms that he did see the same thing. They catch each other up on what they know, and they decide to team up and take out this threat together, once and for all.
Oh, we got a bag full of girly toys that should, make a lot of noise.
All right. Well, let's not let this pie go stale.
No doubt.
Finally, when night comes, it's time. The boys are out patrolling, and they run across a shark who is, thankfully, successfully repelled once again by their bracelets. The ritual has begun, and the cult members are all converging for the great rebirth and summoning of Her Mightiness, Chichimatol.
Tonight we come full circle. Everything is aligned for Chichimatol and the Becoming. The 666 martyrs have been served and lie in this cornfield. The blood of the shark teeth has been ingested.
Blood of shark teeth? I'm not a dentist, but I don't think that's how teeth work.
As it is written, we have a mortal volunteer to become one with Chichimatol.
Hi. Yeah, me again. Question. Mortal volunteer? As opposed to what? You just have another immortal? Another god laying around somewhere? As opposed to what? I'm curious. Dracula, you're up next on the sacrificing list. Come out, you big coward. You big stinky nerd. What? What I still don't fully understand is why a cornfield? This seems like the furthest place from where something like this should be going on. I'd think like, I don't know, a cliff or something overlooking a beach, a plain nearby a beach or something like that. Something near the water, specifically the ocean. You know what Kentucky ain't near? But apparently they've tried this thing more than a few times, so...
The Festival of the Sanguinary is upon us! The last serious attempt having taken place 1,300 years ago.
Maybe they just wound up here by process of elimination? Because they got decimated everywhere else? Yeah, so I was heading up to Ville and I saw one of our other buddies over there with it. Someone had put a natty light next to it, which I had to send to the group me because, listen, there has been like 5 natty light vigils held on that sidewalk in the past week. Okay, it's getting kind of ridiculous, and I think that we should put it in like facilities management, but like they really ain't doing nothing about it, which of course, like, when have they ever? Harbin's got another laundry fire this week. It's like, whoa. Well, the last time that I did that kind of camouflage was back in 73. Now, of course, I wasn't around in 73, but that's the kind of the best form of camouflage, is when you ain't around, they can't prove you ain't around, you know what I mean? So, you know, I was going up the hill, and I was like, what in the world is happening right here? You know, like, I just wanted to get the wood. That's my wood, Bear. You know what I mean? Like, we need to share this mountain, but also, you need to give me my fair share of the wood. Hey, y'all. Y'all ready to get started? Awesome. So we are here for the 137th attempt to reanimate and rebirth our goddess Chichimatol. Praise be to she. Praise be to she. This is the meeting to decide the location of this year's attempt. As y'all know, we are getting quite limited in our options, but hey, that just means that we get a chance to be creative. Alright? Awesome. So, let's just start by going down the list. Beaches are out. Plains are out. Forests are out. Oh, even the mountains? Okay, well, what about sewers? Sewers? Oh, right. The Ninja Turtles kicked our ass last time. So, anybody else got any ideas? Where are y'all from? Beach. Mountains. Lighthouse. Forest. Sewer. Your mom. Cleveland. Okay, let's think. Arlene? What is that? What are you eating? Corn? Hell yeah! Corn! 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 Corn!
By the power of Stonehenge, I pro-offer the final pup and Vera Scheider's willing soul. In your honor and glory, almighty Chichimatol!
And just in case any of you were still wondering why they put in the effort for this whole shindig, frankly, it's because shark's good, humans bad.
Do we need a reason? Just look around at the state of humanity. Inferior, weak, sickly, frail, divided, hateful, afraid.
I think we just need a few more adjectives.
Truly the monsters, the viruses of this age, becoming one with Chichimatol, will absolve us of these shortcomings. We will all be part of the same mindset in the becoming.
The offering is made, and Chichimatol is summoned.
Barriers are now unbound. What was once impossible is now possible. Stonehenge and the moon are in alignment. It is time to change the world with the becoming.
I'm not gonna straight up lie to y'all, that is a pretty sick costume. I would dress up in that for Halloween.
All hail Chichimatol. We are one with her now, and I am her protector. I call upon the ancient powers of Strigoi. Become her
I love this because clearly she was not paying attention. Just, oh, we're filming? But to be fair, I'm not entirely confident she knew they were filming versus taking a photo, because what she did is what I do whenever I'm put in front of a camera. And then just scratches her leg, which I warned y'all about going in the cornfields and getting itchy. You didn't believe me. It's on tape. And then they reused that same footage. Y'all could have just cut that out. You could have cropped it in on his face or something. I'm not gonna complain though, because I think it's funny. I like it. I think it adds to the realistic charm of it. I like it.
Okay, I guess we better do something besides watch this like it's a bad movie.
Gottlieb's reaction is a little late, but it's self-aware, so it gets a pass. But even in the darkest of times, an unlikely hero will arise. Bigfoot just comes and dunks on it and then disappears like an absolute champion. Some protector that dude was. I'll tell you why none of those other attempts have ever succeeded. It's because Bigfoot's been the covert agent against it the whole time, sabotaging it, waiting for his moment. Sasquatching it. Sasquatching it. Editing show will make it work.
Smile, you son of a bitch!
Grenade, bitch!
Jesus Christ. Baby girl, just, you know, just tilt. Just tilt. Headbanging. Headbanging. This is where headbanging will save your life. If you ever happen to be wearing a shark crown because you're a reincarnated shark goddess and you get a grenade in your hat from some douche that works for... Just start headbanging. There. It's gone. Save your life. Save your new rebirth shark goddess life. So, is she dead, or is just the new hostess of her dead? I assume it's the hostess, because then we get this clip of a shark floating through the ocean, which I imagine is like Chichimatol being sent back to her usual form. It's not clear. But that's what I assume, which means she can be revived, and they can do it again. Sequel? Sequel! Sequel?
I guess we did it. Now this is a story for your paper.
Yeah, but that was really Bigfoot.
Yeah, with a big f***ing rock.
I was afraid he would be real, but
no doubt now. Let's get out of here so you can write that up.
You got it.
Ready? Do it.
Surprise! Clever. So is this movie good or bad? In a lot of ways, this movie is not good, but in a lot of other ways, it is very great. I've seen this movie a few times now while writing this script, and it's just fun. It's just such a fun time. Such a fun, original idea. The first time I watched it, I was like texting my friends the entire time, talking to them about how ridiculous and how awesome it was. And I know that just like House Shark, this is gonna be another one of those classics that I just cannot wait to break out every year on Halloween or just fun movie nights with friends. And when it boils down to it, doesn't that make it a good movie in a lot of respects? Just bringing joy and bringing people together to talk about it, to have experiences of and with it, to live in your head as an experience. Don't look at me like that. I am not saying this is the next installment in some kind of masterpiece theater, but the point is that not all stories or movies have to be. They can just exist for the point of being what they are, because the person wanted to make them. After all, y'all, it's fiction. Don't take it so seriously. I mean, come on. There is no such thing as a shark cult marking someone for We're not gonna be a commodity, not another plan of fate that you're gonna eat, mother. You can't try artificial suicide. We're not gonna be a commodity, not another man of fate that you're gonna eat, mother. You can't try artificial suicide. Who lets me film past 10 p.m. anymore? Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, light a Molotov for my broken blues. Can you hear me through the brain cells, friend? Don't get to choose another Antichrist on the evening news. Can you hear me through the brain cells? Can you hear me through the brain cells? We're not gonna be a commodity. I look like I'm in Limp Bizkit. What's up?